It's okay, you can switch on. So basically, the quotation or the point of view, why I'm here is that today I want us to discuss how to answer questions basically in tort law. Most of the problem questions basically in this essence, and in tort law 1 basically, how can I answer the question in tort law 1 in this essence. Remember, tort law, the question it is called the nature and history of tort, the nature and history of the law of torts basically. That essence, that if it is a problem question, how do I go about it in this essence? That if it is a problem question, how do I go about it in this essence? In this discussion, I want you to first have the concept basically. You have the concept that you have the history. We have trespass to goods, trespass to land, trespass to person, defamation, vicarious, under tort law 1. So in this essence, I'll start with problem question basically. That if a problem question comes to you in tort law, basically, I just beg you in this essence that you discuss it in a way that brief facts, the issues, the law applicable, and the resolution. That if a problem question comes, give the brief facts, as they just derive the brief facts. After the brief facts, go to the issues. After the issues, go to the law applicable. Then the resolution, basically. Now the issues, how do you raise issues in tort law 1 basically? So the issues are like this, that whether Peter has a cause of action of battery under trespass to person, basically. Whether Peter has a cause of action of malicious prosecution under trespass to person. Whether Peter has a cause of action of detenue under trespass to goods. Whether Peter can be held vicariously liable. Whether Peter has a cause of action of trespass to land. Whether there are any possible remedies. Whether there are any possible defenses. So basically that's how we raise our issues in this essence basically. So the key element that I want that bring that idea that whether there is a cause of action, your issues will have that substance in them, whether there is a cause of action, so basically there you are good to go in that essence. Then we have, for example, you also have the law applicable. The law applicable, at times we can start with the constitution, basically constitution. For example, constitution, it is trespass to goods. Everyone has a right to property, basically to own property. So it gives the other element of trespass to, it gives the other element that someone has trespassed to your goods, yet you have that ownership of property. You can start with the constitution basically. The constitution and case law, because tort law is all about cases. Basically, the constitution, if you don't know the provisions that you are going to use, don't put it. Just put case law. It is enough, and you will get the marks. Basically, just put case law. Don't force. But if you are aware that you have the provision that you are going to use in the constitution, put the constitution there. Basically, in that essence. So, then when you go to the resolution, this goes to every issue that you have raised. You start with the history. Basically, you start with the history of tort. That's the essence. That you have to start with the history. That if you're talking about trespass to person, or you're talking about malicious prosecution as a cause of action, as your issue, whether Peter has a cause of action of trespass, of malicious prosecution under trespass to person, start with the history. Basically, meaning the history, don't run to from the Gentiles level. No, look for that society where that tort started from. For example, malicious prosecution started from the tort, from the society of the feudal society, in that essence, when he started in the feudal society, that's when it came slowly, basically, in that essence. Start with the, when you're talking about the feudal society, just give like a brief history. Your history must be at least on like 6 lines. Don't exceed that. For example, I'll give an example that my issue, I'm going to introduce that whether Simon Peter has a cause of action of malicious prosecution under trespass to person. So in my history, I start that under the year of 800 AD to 1450 AD, there was the feudal society, which composed of the monarch, the church, the serfs, and the barons, basically. It was a society that composed of long-distance trade, horse harnessing, agriculture, among others, basically. So in this essence, because that this nobility wanted to protect their property from these people, they installed what? They installed various writs. And some of the writs, this is where the writ of trespass comes in. The writ of trespass, basically, for it dealt with that, you know what? In case it was to deal with the serious breaches of peace, basically, in that essence, serious breaches of peace, in that essence. There was also the writ of trover, writ of detinue, among others, basically. There also came the writ of conspiracy. Now the writ of conspiracy, remember, it is the one that I most so emphasize on. The writ of conspiracy that turned out to be false imprisonment and malicious what? Prosecution, to protect the peace of the what? The nobility, since the peasants had no cause of what? Action. Because the writ, it was to favor the people that had some command. So as a result, basically. So for malicious prosecution, we identified under the writ of what? Conspiracy, basically, under the feudal, basically. Then you connect it that similarly it was received in Uganda under the 1902 order in council in the reception clause. That's where we received common law. Common law coming in 1902, it is evident today through section 11 of the Magistrate Court Act and section 14 of the Judicature Act, which provides that both common law and equity shall be applied concurrently. Then after about that essay, you dive into the question. Then you start your malicious prosecution. This is where, among others, the case of Olango versus Anthony Gino provides for the element, what and what. That's how you start. But the history must come first. Basically, in every issue, not one issue, every issue that you have raised and every issue you want to resolve, you start with the history in that essence. So basically note that in what? In mind as you are doing those problem questions of tort law, basically. And those are problem questions, basically. At the end of the day, at times after raising your problem, what and what, you advise concurrently, because they can advise whether Chiza and Peter have any remedies. After discussing everything, then you show them that they have what? They have remedies as a result, basically. So that is to deal with what? Problem questions, basically. Then when you go to the essay question, even essay questions, you must start with the history. Basically, that's why in Tort Law 1, it is good for you to memorize the history of the law of tort. Basically, start to memorize, actually master that history of the law of tort, from the Gentile to the slave society, to the feudal society, to the mercantilism society, to the industrial capitalism, up to the financial capitalism. If you know the history, Tort Law 1 is possible, and it is achievable at the end of the day, basically. So basically note that in what? In mind, basically. So as you are revising your books, or as you encounter that question paper, have this in mind. Bear this in mind, that I'm attacking this paper, but this is how I have to answer, and this is how I have to do in this essence, basically. So other than that, basically, I just wish you good luck in your revision, in whatever you do. Thank you for listening, and thank you for watching. Yes, thank you for watching. Thank you for being on the channel. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, share the videos, and stay on. Thank you very much for always watching. Stay blessed and be blessed. Continue watching.